Hey everyone, this is Aaron Schwartz from Orita. I'm here with Lolita from Evestar. I've always wanted to call it like a sexier name than that, but Evestar works itself. So like I want to find some intonations. Aaron, one of the co-founders of Orita, we do AI customer segments for a bunch of Klaviyo brands. More importantly, we partner with a bunch of great agencies, including Lolita's. But we're not going to be talking about Orita today. We're talking about you. We're going to talk about D2C. We may talk about artificial intelligence. We're going to talk about your background. So anyway, Lolita, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's fun.
The first most important question is give us your background. Like it is super cool. And I've got 1,000 follow-up questions, but would love for you to share your story in your own words.
Yeah, sure. So let's start with the most recent story. I founded Evestar in 2018. We're a full service e-commerce marketing agency. We have great partners. I think that we share the same partners such as Triple Whale, Klaviyo and all. And we work with really cool brands as well. So difference between us and other agencies, I would say, is that my mission has always been to help brands grow and has always been to take the brand and grow with them and offer them any service that they would need when it comes to e-commerce. So we're actually genuinely full service. When I usually pitch it, say, it starts with Shopify UI UX, creative strategy. We're very good at making lots of different content. And of course, media buying. TikTok Shop is a new thing. We can get into that as well. And we just recently acquired a small Amazon agency.
Oh,
so
cool.
we also have Amazon capabilities. So today, that was the last puzzle. We cover the whole spectrum of e-com.
Before, just very quickly, because I obviously want to go backwards, but when you started Evestar, was the idea always to be as broad as you are at this point? Or was it like, hey, we're going to focus on one thing and be great, and you just kind of got
It was
pulled there?
always to be
Cool. Okay.
full service. So like back in 2018, we start talking about it, right? This is when we launched ecom. Klaviyo was still very small. Shopify was considered to be, a platform for startups, right? That Triple Whale was not around. TikTok was not around, right? So delivering full service was a lot easier. So when you look at full service, it was, ad creation and ads. There was no short form video. It was put a picture with a nice headline and there you go, you have an ad, right? The email marketing, I think we were one of the first agencies that really came up with a really strong service for email marketing due to our creative and design. So every email was custom designed, landing pages, the way that it's custom to look for an email today. It wasn't like that in 2018. Klaviyo was a lot more simple back then. So yes, the industry has propelled forward. I think COVID has been fantastic to us, right? We were one of the industries that got lucky with COVID because I remember in 2020, our agency, tripled in size. A lot of brands started coming in and paying attention to e-commerce, the retailers, wholesalers, things like that. So delivering full service today is a lot harder, right? Because there's a lot of, more things that has been added. But in 2018, it looked fairly simple. So we always were full service, but then we kind of kept up with the innovation and, with the industry.
That's great. All right. Well, I cut you off though. So go back because this isn't your first rodeo. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not. Yeah, before Evestar, I was a co-founder, with my husband of a company called JetSmarter. It was a private aviation company. So we basically, long story short, created the concept of jet sharing. Today, there's a lot of, players that are flying on jet sharing concept where you can buy a seat on a private jet. So we were one of the first creators of that. And we launched it in 2013. We were actually the first app out there when it comes to private aviation that democratized private aviation and allowed a private flyer to understand where the airplanes are located and allowed them an ability to book a private jet via the app. So we were the first ones. We came to market and that's what we did. The company grew very quickly, from the launch to an exit in 2018. So it was a, fantastic ride. I always tell our brand owners that come to Evestar, and a lot of actually brand owners have been customers of JetSmarter, which is really cool, right? There's an instant report there, and everybody asks about, of course, that journey. And I say, listen, I know a lot about marketing. I had great, learnings at JetSmarter because I think we marketed, we grew so fast at every channel, and this is the, experience that we bring today to our brands. And that's inspiration that came after, JetSmart. I got into the agency side to where I wanted to be full service because I, found a lapse in the market within agencies because I was once a client. I had once very big budgets and I work with big companies, WPP, Omnicom Group, agencies. And I was very not pleasantly surprised at how, behind they are in modern digital marketing.
The shifts from running JetStar to Evestar is
JetSmarter, yeah.
JetSmarter, sorry, to Evestar is such a big one. So I ran a brand for a long time and then I switched more to commerce tech and it was like, okay, we had an issue with international shipping. I co-founded a company called Passport that does cross-border shipping. And then I, had issues with returns and exchanges. I was able to join Loop Returns, right? Like on the scale up phase, which was wonderful. And then obviously with Orita, it's like, yep, we had marketing issues and like segmentation issues. Cool. We're solving that. Yeah. But this feels so fundamentally different. I'm curious about that journey and also just like, you as a founder and a leader, what you were able to take from JetSmarter towards Evestar.
Yeah. So JetSmarter was, very high profile company. We grew very fast. There's a lot of media about us. So it was a lot to handle. I think that we were also very young. When JetSmarter exited, I think I wanted something that was completely the opposite. And I got into Evestar because I wanted something that's very quiet, that you provide value to your customers. And that's something that's not cash intensive. Like on an agency model is that if you are very good at what you do and you have a core team, you're able to generate value and get clients fairly quickly. So the agency for us, like once I launched it, I had a name which was easier for me than other agency owners to attract some of the bigger brands right away because of my story as a founder. But yes, it was kind of go from cash intensive, constant stress of fundraising, constant stress of if you mess up, there's somewhere in the media, something written about you, to an agency, you stay, you kind of get your head down, provide value to the customers. And I went into the service industry, which was completely the opposite. But I think that's, I enjoy it. I've had a fun ride and, JetSmarter conversation still comes through because as I said, that a lot of our customers today have been JetSmarter members, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
That's cool. I just need Orita to raise a couple more rounds and then I'll be there. So give me like a year and then I get to be a customer too. I do think it's interesting. Like I can see the through line for you of like, you actually get to spend a lot of time with your customers and like build that deep relationship. And obviously from a business model perspective, just being able to say, hey, we can be profitable and go build a great business. It's not about hyperscaling, but it's about like doing the best service possible for our brands.
Right.
I think
yes. So there was no stress of, as I said, of, fundraising constant, right? How you growing? Like back in the day was a tech enabled, product where everything was about top line, come on, grow as fast as you can. And, all that stress. So with agency, I got myself in a completely different game because I was mentally ready. I wanted it to where, listen, let's focus about bottom line. There's no fundraising that's needed. Create an excellent product today on the market when it comes to marketing, right, to deliver to your clients. And I think we've done, a great job with that. Completely different business, but I enjoy it a lot.
You were a college tennis player too, correct?
Correct.
How I can see like the competitive nature when you're building a hyperscaler where it's like, all right, cool, growth. Maybe a weird question, but how does the competitive side come out when you're building an agency? Because it's like, is it you guys competing with yourself and trying to improve quarter over quarter for your brands? Is it, I don't know. Curious if there is anything.
I think that it's not only for the agency. I think that competitive sports and high level sports, I used to be a professional tennis player and in tennis, you become pro very early. So I turned pro when I was 14 years old.
I didn't realize that.
Wow. Yeah, I was on a tour at 14. You have to mature very quick. I'm an immigrant. I was born in Uzbekistan. I came to United States tennis, brought my family here. So I turned pro and then started getting recruited by top schools. Ended up at University of Florida. To be honest with you, didn't know much about NCAA, and schools in the United States. So I chose UF because they were number one ranked at NCAA and they won a national championship before that. So that was an easy decision, for me. And then that's where I actually met, my husband, Sergey. We got married and, launched JetSmarter right after graduation. But I think that, sports has fundamentally made my character always, especially tennis. Tennis is an individual sport. You're by yourself. You can't even get tips from the coach. You got to kind of survive and figure it out. So even though my life has taken me on a completely different path, but I always give credit to my fundamentals and professional athlete career, that I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have that skill set of basically constantly surviving, getting better, persevering, things like that. So I give credit for sure to the sports professional career that I once had.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
One of the things I'm super curious about, given how long you've been on the agency side, and obviously you were the customer before, is I've been in D2C in different ways, shape, or form since 2010, and obviously things are changing. From an agency perspective, how has the D2C world changed in the last 7-8 years since you started Evestar?
Oh my God. I think that changes even faster because we have a lot of pressure because, it's a competitive landscape. We have a lot of pressure to deliver good product. So I always make a joke, like our industry changes every 10 minutes. Like we are at the mercy of the platforms of Meta with Google, TikTok right now came along, Amazon, they change things all the time. The algorithms, the way that the content, today you need that type of content, tomorrow the other type. So you have to constantly evolve. So I think that it's, even right now, I think it's propelling even faster with the inception of AI. I think that the industry will be completely different in 3 years with the inception of AI. Even if looking at our roster today, copywriting, right? I used to have 5-7 copywriters 3 years ago. Today, ChatGPT has kind of came in and other platforms to where they write copy better than any human does, right? So I'm sure that my team will be watching this podcast, not to scare anybody what's happening, but I think that the next, changes will be with design. And I think that there's already AI companies that are coming in to where they're already designing emails, starting to where with the click of the button, everything is designed and you can send it via Klaviyo and things like that. We're not there yet, but I think we'll get there. Content creation also, like with us, we launched in 2025 product, we call it Evie. It's really cool. It has made us a lot better. What Evie does essentially, in short, is Evie is a creative director. Evie is a creative strategist that comes up with really cool winning ad concepts, and it already kind of gives you the first draft of an ad. And our designers basically put a little bit of final touches on it, and I'm able to generate ads a lot faster. So the output of our work today in 2020, at the end of the second quarter, in the second half of the year of 2025, has tremendously increased. Like the quality and the quantity of the ad creation that we produce is like night and day than in the beginning of 2025. So just looking at how much better we have gone with inception of AI and creating our own product, like it's mind blowing. What's going to happen in the next couple of years. It's very interesting. Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like it's giving you guys superpowers, and you have more channels than ever, right? You have, to your point, the algorithms are changing and what content is resonating. And there's no possible way for humans to create as much from the get-go. And so at the very least, if it gives you leverage, like if it's a creative director and it's spitting out concepts, you can still then give it to the expert who understands the brand better than anybody else could, or understands, even forget the brand, like what the brand's director of marketing, what story she wants to tell. And it can just accelerate your work, which is pretty
for sure. Because looking even at our, internal operations, the production of ad creation, the bottleneck was always coming up with the initial concept, right? That's the creative director kind of role, to where, you need to come up with new ad concepts. Meta requires a lot of different creative, right? And a human used to have to brainstorm and put the briefs together, analyze the brand. And today, Evie does it really well, to where, our content managers are able to leverage Evie and generate hundreds of different ad concepts, to where our designers then basically tweak with their hands. There's still human touch, where we're not there yet to create a complete final ad yet. So designers give it final touches, but the different types of the creative that we're able to generate is definitely, we stepped it up in the meta game a lot. And we're also, what's exciting is that we're winning bigger clients, because that's the pain point. So initially we were working a lot with the startups, incoming brands, and we do have some bigger customers, but Evie has allowed us to come and have a conversation with already enterprise clients, which is really exciting.
That's very cool. Will it all be like D2C plus omnichannel, or will you even step outside of the commerce space for brands?
Evie has stepped outside because we have a couple of big lead gen companies, and they come from my, JetSmarter Air, they're yacht companies, private jet companies. And, I've talked to some, still contacts that I have in that space. And I go, let me try to create, content, because for them, creating content is expensive, right?
Yeah,
Private
sure.
jets, you got to get the whole airplane by the time you get the whole production. We're talking about back in the day, JetSmarter would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on just one photo shoot and one video shoot. You got to lift the airplane off the ground, right? Yeah. So today you can generate all of that with AI and it's going to look real. So, this is another thing to where some of our bigger customers today, they don't have to spend a lot of money on production. It's not needed. Like, I'll give you an example, that I can talk about. In the portfolio, we have Hard Rock as a customer, and Hard Rock has licensing agreements with all of the stars, right? So getting a superstar on the production to shoot the apparel and swag, expensive, right? Sure. Time consuming. So today AI can literally replace that. So I think the production companies are really in the future going to also, they will have to pivot because AI will take the market share from there, because they can generate today really cool, content.
We find the same thing in terms of kind of moving up market, and we were kind of pulled up market. We do segments, but what that means really is like, we need brands that have a lot of data. And if you don't have a lot of data, you don't need machine learning to crunch it, right? Like, you can figure out who to message and who not to. But when a brand has like 1 million or 2 million or 10 million profiles, then like, actually this is a useful tool.
Yeah.
Our approach has been to stay super narrow and be like, there are tools like Evie and like Klaviyo AI, and like, there are all these amazing products out there. And like, we're just like, we just want to own a niche and just like be really, really, really good at it. Yeah. I am curious for you. You've been a tech founder. You are like obviously an exceptional builder, and you have your pulse on what customers want. When you build a product like Evie, and I'm sure there's other stuff that you guys are working on, is there a part of you that is conflicted about like, should we use this for Evestar, or should we actually like go spin this out and make this a tool for others? Like, how do you think about that?
Oh my God, this is what I am internally discussing with my team right now, because obviously having our own SaaS will enable us to grow faster, right? If we go in and give it's not there yet, but I think that's in 2026, once I get the product there to be basically available to give it, on the freemium model to brands. I think that'll be a massive game changer now, growth. But yes, this is what basically you read my mind. This is where I am right now. It would be very, very helpful. And being a SaaS-powered agency, I think that there is very few. Yeah. So right now we use it internally and our clients are loving it. So we sell it as a service, an additional service. Once you work with us, you'll have EV, and that's empowered. That's your creative director. You don't need anybody to come up with really, concepts. So that's cool. What we are. But as I said, like, it's night and day in terms of service delivery of Evestar right now and Evestar 6 months ago. Completely.
Sure. That's very cool. Yeah, I find myself kind of always conflicted, where like, I deeply miss running a brand, because you get that personal connection. You like make the product. Lolita loves the product. Sometimes they write notes and say like, hey, thank you. Right. And like, that's cool. And then the flip side is when you're building a scalable tech company, right? And like, you obviously at Evestar did that deep personal relationship. The minute you start like building software, you're a step removed, right? And you're in service of somebody else doing something, which is obviously gratifying, but in a different
way. But listen, as entrepreneurs, both of us, and coming from the tech background, we both know that the multiples on companies that are trading, but if you're tech and if you're service, are completely different, right? If an agency has a good tech and software, I mean, the multiple even at the exit is, times 10 versus services times 5. So of course, this is why we're like, I'm putting all of my attention right now into the product, and we were able to put it together very quickly. And by the way, the inspiration for Evie was the constant need for hiring, right? We had to pivot and innovate a bit because the industry is changing so fast. Clients want more work, better work, more creative, right? In order for you to compete. I mean, how do you do that if you service business? There's a couple solutions. You go and you start hiring, and you become, really, it's harder to manage to produce good quality, or you need to create the product. So I think that the inception of AI that it came into our industry, like, it kind of pushed me into thinking faster, right? To where if Evestar needs to develop and create better product today without hiring 100 additional people, right? I need to have a product. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. So kind of, the market pushed me to work a little harder.
Well, I mean, I'd frame it slightly differently, which is like you guys are and just utterly empathetic to what your customers need, and you're seeing them ask for stuff, and like there's a job to be done for them, and therefore, like you're able to build things. I mean, I see so many startups come up. I have a desk, but you know what I mean, like come across my desk all the time, and I find the ones where it's like actually a deep empathy for a customer are the ones that are certainly I'm most excited to invest in or advise, where it's like they deeply understand this problem. So I like that, it's not like, oh, EV, like Lolita, you could go fundraise and build any product you want to, but it's actually a product that is like immediately impactful for your customers, which I think is, gives it a much better chance for growth. It
has impacted already. No, it's exciting. I think that we're not working together enough. We've met before, right? We've done some webinars and, we have the same tech stack as partners, Shopify. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, your product. I don't know whether we use you enough, but we should amp it up.
We're earning it. We are very good at one thing and one thing only, which is AI customer segmentation. And like the silly example that I like giving is if a brand does a 90-day engage segment, which is like pretty good, pretty standard, normal send. And like Lolita's clicked 15 times and I've clicked once, we look exactly the same. But if you actually look at, so that's just purely frequency, right? But there's obviously like a level of engagement that one of us has that the other doesn't. But if you look at all the data that a brand has, it's their returns, reviews, CRM tickets, loyalty, all of that actually tells you a full story about, does this person want to hear from you today or not? And so I look at the world as when I was a marketer, like running my brand, I would send every email to everybody because I was like, this is good shit. Lolita should get this email.
I used to do that at JetSmarter.
Yeah, just like, hey, we worked so hard. It looks good. Oh my God, what an incredible campaign. They should love it. And like, if you think about literally what you said at the beginning, it's just like more channels than ever. Like TikTok shops didn't exist 3 years ago. Shop app wasn't like everything is changing all the time. It's just more content through more channels. And so the better question is, when is somebody listening? And that is like the problem that we solve. And so our strategy, and like publicly stated, is like literally just to solve this problem and then let amazing agencies do the creative and the strategy work and let Klaviyo be this incredible ESP and, that will like help schedule everything and have other tools that will increase your funnel, de-anonymization, and tools that will improve your flows. And we're like, guys, at the end of the day, you do all that and you hit somebody up when they want to hear from you. That is when the magic happens. So
absolutely.
That's it.
So you guys right now work with Klaviyo. Any other e-commerce ESP?
So we are, it's funny, I was talking to one of our investors this morning. We are in the sandbox for not every platform, but most of the platforms, anybody else. And our partnership with Klaviyo just keeps growing. And so we've decided to stay very, very narrow. I mean, you've built multiple companies. It's like, at the end of the day, we're a 20-person team. And focus wins. And we work with a bunch of massive brands. We work with Caraway and Spanx and Tracksmith and, Nissan and like Rem Beauty and yada, yada, yada. But it's like, we want to keep serving them, but we're building an ads product, we have our SMS product. So like, you will see us move into every channel.
Yeah. But listen, the Klaviyo has market share when it comes to e-commerce. I mean, if I look at our portfolio, 9 out of 10 on Klaviyo, right? And even though there's others that are coming in, I still haven't found a better ESP.
No,
I
do miss, my brand was on MailChimp back in the day and I miss my MailChimp t-shirt, but outside of that, no, we
were on MailChimp too.
It was great. We probably sent each other.
There was no segmentation back then, 10 years ago. You just send mass email.
Back in our day, it was very easy.
By the way, very simple, like it's crazy how as marketers and founders, right, when we talk about the evolution of the industry, things that we know today, right? And what we did 10 years ago, completely different. Like it makes us look like I would look at Lolita 10 years ago, a marketer, right? I'd be like, oh my God, Lolita didn't know nothing, right? Because today,
we're hiring a couple leaders, like head of revenue, whatever. And like, I'm very aware that the person I need to hire today is fundamentally different from who I would have hired 2 years ago. And it's hard to think through this. But you are now interviewing me and that is not fair because I like not answering stuff. Lolita, I want to be respectful. We have about 2 minutes left. I want to give you space to share any insight that you have that you want to share with bigger brands? And then secondarily, that you didn't share, just double click on something you did already say today. And then secondarily, just tell everybody where they can find you.
What I didn't share with big brands, I think big brands and small brands, I think that we all have to invest in content today. I always said the content is king. The brand that will win is the ones that can produce the best content today. And it's a lot harder because there's so many different channels and different content per channel. And I think that people can find us very simple, on the website, schedule a call. Actually, go straight to me. I still take all of the calls. So if anybody's interested, go ahead and I would love to meet them.
I love it. Lolita, this was such a pleasure. I'm going to follow up with you separately so we can go deeper into the startup journey. But this was wonderful. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Schwartz, co-founder and co-CEO of Orita.ai. We build AI customer segmentation for some of Klaviyo's biggest brands like Oriana, Spanx, Caraway, Third Love, True Classic, Run Beauty, and on and on. Brands come to us to help find untapped revenue, improve their click rate, drive away mean bots, and a bunch more. You can learn more or get a free customer engagement audit at Orita.ai.